Welcome back to Texas Nation. I'm still sitting here with the same guys, and once again, I'm not going to change. I'm Grant Levenson. So, all right, let's go ahead and talk about March Madness. Now, I don't want to talk too much about all the losses or anything that's happened in the past. I really would like to focus on what's going to happen in the future, in the Sweet 16, the last couple days of it, and then the Elite Eight and the Final Four and whatnot. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about something that's happened in the past or earlier in this tournament. The refs have been noticed. And as a referee, you never want to be noticed. You want to be, there to blow your whistle once in a while and then walk into the tunnel when the game's over. No one know your name. But there's been a couple of games between Pitt and Butler, Texas and Arizona, and then Marquette and Syracuse where the refs have really factored into the game, I feel. Martin, do you think that the refs are altering some of these games?
They're given and taking away possessions at the end of the game where it's every possession counts. It's most vital. I think the most notable one's the Texas-Arizona game, where he miscounted the 5 count, which is real crucial to calling timeout and getting the ball in, which gave Arizona the and one opportunity at the end of the game, which gave them the game.
I mean, essentially, he messed up 2 calls on there. He didn't give the full 5 seconds,
Right.
And he didn't even let Corey Joseph call a timeout, which he did in time. Carl, do you think that the refs are altering the game?
It's just part of the game, I think, but I think the refs don't want to decide the game. Quote unquote, they don't want to decide the game, but by not calling fouls, not calling the right calls you should make, they're deciding the game.
Right.
And in a way, they really have kind of hurt the tournament a little bit.
I mean, we understand that, being a referee is a human thing. You're going to have flaws.
Right.
You're going to have missed calls. But when you make, in the biggest time, like Jim Joyce, you got to feel bad for him calling that, the runner out or safe at first when Armando Galarraga was
Right.
pitching his perfect game. You're going to have those instances, but when the NCAA hasn't come out and said, I'm sorry, we've blown these calls, you got to think what's going on in their head. But anyways, let's move on to the tournament now and talk about who's still playing. We have 6 seeds that are higher than a 3 seed right now. We have Arizona as a 5, Butler as an 8, VCU and Marquette as 11, Florida State is 10, and then Richmond is a 12 seed, and they're still in it. Now, Carl, who do you see of those 6 teams, who do you think has the best chance to win?
I like Arizona a lot. Derek Williams has really come into his own in the last couple months, and at the moment he's kind of even mixing it up with an outside game. He's kind of moving into a 3-4. I think he should stay at the 4, because nobody can stop him at the 4, but now he's kind of throwing in the 3-point shot. He made 5 in the first half last game against Duke, and that really hurt the Blue Devils.
Martin?
Derek Williams is doing good, but he's not going to get through Solinger on his road to championship. I think you have to go to the other side of the bracket and look at Butler. Butler has first of all, they have the experience only losing Hayward to the draft last year, being in the national title game. And I think they're the hungriest team in the tournament left right now. They had a taste of the national title and they want it back. And this might be their last chance to do it.
Well,
For a while.
with their coach, because
Yeah.
he's probably going to be going on to like Tennessee or some big name schools. But who do you feel is the best player in the tournament right now, Martin?
I think the best player in the tournament, you have to go to Matt Howard. Matt Howard has put the Butler Bulldogs on his back, and he's carrying them. He's being a leader. He's doing everything right, especially at the end of games, making free throws. They're just playing smart basketball.
Right.
I like Kemba Walker a whole lot. He's definitely the best NBA prospect out on that court. Even though Jared Solinger's really good, I like Kemba Walker because his speed and ability to create for others and himself just puts him head and shoulders above everybody else.
He can definitely create for himself. He scored 82 points in 3 tournament games.
Right.
I mean, this kid is insane, and he's on fire, going all the way back to the Big East tournament when he and the Huskies swept the tournament. So I agree with you. I think Kim is by far head and shoulders above everyone else. Now, which upset surprised you the most, Carl?
I honestly kind of thought that Duke, Arizona, that's not really too much of an upset, but I mean, you look at that roster, they have 7 future NBA players on that team. The thing that hurt him was Kyrie Irving coming back from this injury now. And
do you think that really hurt him, though? Or
Yes.
because we saw he scored 28 points. Do you think that he hurt him?
When you just throw in a point guard who started the season and ends the season, and there's not that whole time to build chemistry, it's really important for a point guard. Same thing happened with Jameer Nelson in the 2009 finals against the Lakers. They just kind of threw him into the finals, and it messed up what the Heat were doing so well.
Martin, what do you think?
I mean, Arizona isn't really an upset whenever they're a 5 seed. They're still in a power conference. I think for biggest upset, you got to go to VCU. They had to play in to get into the tournament. to beat USC, and then they beat Georgetown and Purdue by 18 points apiece. They have kind of shocked it. Whenever the bracket came out, everyone was saying that they shouldn't have even been in it.
Right.
So I think they've been the biggest upset so far.
Let's not forget Morehead State. They have a small forward playing a power forward position as their best player. A lot of players who are almost borderline D1 players that just kind of took over that game against I forget Louisville. Yes.
Yeah.
And
So,
that was a big upset
Well, I
as well.
agree. I think Morehead State definitely, they weren't the favorite even in their conference tournament, and they still
Right.
won that. So that's an upset right there. And then, like you said, beating Louisville. Now, give me your final 4 teams, then give me your championship game, and then I want y'all to tell me who you think wins. Martin?
All right. Out of the East, I think Ohio State's going to take it. Solinger and them have been playing lights out, and they shouldn't really stumble too much. The even easier road is Kansas, who has 3 double-digit seeds to get through on their way to the Final Four. And then I think Butler will come out of the Southwest. And then out of the West, I think UConn will do it. And then I think it's going to be Butler and OSU in the championship, with Butler taking it and getting revenge.
Wow, big upset pick. Okay. Now, Carl, how do you feel about it?
No, definitely Kansas and Ohio State and UConn for sure. I'm still on the fringe with whoever that 4th team comes in, but those teams are definitely for sure in there, especially Kansas, because if they lose, it would be very embarrassing, and I don't think they want to be embarrassed 2 years in a row.
Right.
Last year against Iowa State and Ali Farouk-Manesh, as we remember. That was a fun name to say. But no, I think Kansas and UConn will play, and I think Kemba Walker can actually defeat the more complete Kansas team.
Well, that'll be one heck of a final if we do see the Huskies versus the Jayhawks. Well, I want to thank y'all two very much for coming in and talking about some college basketball. When we come back, we're going to talk about Major League Baseball and opening days coming up soon, so don't go anywhere.